Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my first drawing page. I'm testing something out, but this is where I'm going to be drawing all of my sketches in fast time, but I recorded it, so I'll talk over and say what my thought process was and so on and so forth. So I hope you enjoy it. So for this idea, I wanted to do I was inspired by Beyonce, and she had like a cowboy hat that had a fringe partition all around her hat. And I had the idea, oh, what if instead of the fringe was these tiny little planets on her hat, and what if she was holding like an orb, and she has on this necklace that has other orbs and planets and things like that. And so after I was inspired, I drew a few sketches in the past, but none of them I was feeling until I was tired last night. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna draw it again. And it turned out to be really, really cool. I'm really proud of how it came out and proud of myself for doing it. So some of the things that I struggled with this piece was the perspective of the hat, because with Beyonce, her hat, or the way that she was positioned, the perspective was sort of, she had a front view to her. She wasn't tilted at an angle. So during the hat drawing process, I had to figure out what the hat would look like at a side view perspective, or a side portrait view. And the first sketch, I was like, no, her head can't be this big. This is impossible. And so I scrapped the whole thing, as you're going to see in a few seconds. And I decided to go with the original sketch. And it turned out that the original sketch was actually better. I know, who would have thought, right? And after I got the perspective and how it would look from the side angle, it's still a little bit wonky, but it's better than the second try. And so here I'm adding the little planets on the top of her hat, as well as around the brim of her hat. And originally I did the fringe very lazily, but I had to go back and say, okay, you have to, come on, don't be lazy, just do it right the first time. And so I did it. Some other challenges that I had, it's mainly choosing color and seeing what colors go well together. I was thinking mostly having a neutral color palette with her clothes, and having the necklaces and everything else be a pop of color. And so that's what I drew inspiration of, and that's what I decided ultimately. As for the necklace, so in different parts of Africa, there are different necklaces that are associated with each tribe. And so I actually have this picture of this person who was dressed they were dressed so nicely in this African necklace piece, and another was also dressed in a beaded necklace. So I decided to combine the both of it. And as for the clothing, I drew inspiration from Japanese style when it comes to layering, and also having the clothes be not as well fitting as a lot of the Western culture, but more free. And the only thing that cinches, or that forms with her body, is the cinch of the waist, which is like a little band that she wraps around her waist. I guess you can say the hands are also something that I struggled with when it comes to how big the hand should be and what the hands look like underneath when you're holding something, and what fingers to see and not to see. I am still learning. Although I've been drawing all my life, I've been dedicated. I've been drawing for the past few years, for real, not just, just for jokes. And really quick, as for her hair, I was contemplating between box braids, individuals, or locks, and I just decided to do locks because at the time I didn't want to draw the crisscross of what the individuals look like. So I said, oh, I'm just gonna do locks. It's gonna be simple, and it was. The reason why I have an instant inspiration of drawing people who, oh yeah, this was actually pretty cool. So really quick, I'll get back to my comment later. But for the portals, I didn't want to draw the full bodice, and in the reference photo, the full bodice wasn't shown, so I just did 3/4 of the way. But I was thinking to myself, why don't I do like this angle design where she's stepping out of a portal and into another? And so that's what caused me to do the 2 angles from the top of her hat and one at mid-thigh towards her legs. And as I was saying, I'm really inspired by the universe and stars and the possibility of these beings traveling through portals through time and space, protecting planets and protecting these spherical things that are power. And so I decided to draw this person holding it. Half of the time with my art, I don't really have a definite answer as to why I do the things I do. I just draw it because I feel called to, or I'm inspired by how one dresses. Or I have about maybe 2,000 reference photos when it comes to makeup, when it comes to poses, models, fashion, ethnicities and culture and what they wear. And so I have a lot of free room to combine all my inspirations and use it to fit a certain concept or to fulfill my my creative inspirations. And so with this piece, that's why she's dressed the way she is. She's a spiritual person or being, she might not even be a human, who goes through the abyss of the universe, and they protect what they're assigned to protect. And also they kind of look like Afro-futuristic Doctor Who. That wasn't my inspiration at all, but I just noticed that. And throughout my artwork recently, there are these eyes that are in each one of my pieces. I'm inspired by the eye of protection, and I believe it's the Jewish community, or it's actually fluid in a lot of different cultures and religions, that there's this eye that protects you from all evil that is throughout the world. And so as a form of that for myself and for my art, I have the eye of protection on every single piece of my artwork, digital and traditional. And what I love the most about Photoshop is oh, excuse me, they have these filters under, that's above the layer drop down box, where you can, if you have a specific layer that has colors or lines or anything, it converts it to a specific filter, whether it makes it brighter or it changes the color or it makes it translucent, more opaque, it brings it to the surface, or it highlights the lines or anything like that on the layer. And so what really brought this piece to life is the luminosity and the glowing of the orb that's in their hand, as well as the tiny little planets and the dangly things that I'm drawing right now on her, the brim of her hat, as well as the highlights on her hair. It really makes it pop. And for the orb, I actually just colored this just to have a layer of color, but as I was going on with this piece, I thought, oh wow, this color is actually really nice. It complements everything, and it's its own character in this piece. And I decided to match the portals with that color because it complemented each other. And here I'm just fine-tuning everything, making everything cohesive and vibrant. And what I did on accident actually was I was drawing something, and then this color softness came out on the canvas, and I thought, oh, this is actually, it looks really cool. And so I did that. It's kind of like misty and it's mysterious, and I like how it brings texture to the piece. So overall, I'm super proud with the process, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more, by all means, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And as always, thank you for watching, and you are powerful, you are abundant, you are blessed, and you are loved. Take care.